One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. Excited to sit down and chat with A&M Commerce AD Tim McMurray from the 2018 NCAA Convention. Tim, you guys are coming off a football national championship. You've now been at Commerce for about 2.5 years, or going into year 3, it sounds like. The best-in-class framework that you've created across the athletic department, I think, is where I'd like to start. But I do want to talk about as well how you leverage this championship across your department. But let's start with best-in-class. And you've been at some D1 institutions, Northern Illinois being one. Where do you start developing this framework of how you want to position the department and, by and large, sometimes the university?
Yeah, Matt, appreciate you having me on. This is a great opportunity. I thought this was a great opportunity for us to really tell our story. And I said best in class at our press conference because when I was at Northern Illinois, as an example, our mission was to provide a world-class experience for every student-athlete. And that came from my boss at the time, Jim Phillips, who's vice president and athletics director at Northwestern, now in Chicago, and a very good friend to this day. And we, the world-class experience, there's very few schools in the country that get a chance to try to do that. And so instead of trying to do something that we don't have the resources of a Division I, but we do have opportunities, and we have really, really good people, and hopefully have put together that culture that I'll talk about in a minute. But I thought we did have a chance to be best in class, because best in class means something different for every sport and every administrative unit. For volleyball, well, it's framed around the question of who is our model. In volleyball, our model is Angelo State and Tarleton. Tarleton won our league in volleyball this year. We went to the NCAA tournament in volleyball, but we didn't win the league. So anything that Tarleton has, people, opportunity, resource-wise, it's my job to empower our coach with. That's how we get to be best in class. When I got there and sat down with our football coach, he was coming off a conference championship, and he inherited back-to-back 1-9, and Colby's just done an unbelievable job and totally now flipped a culture. But at the time, we'd not been in the NCAA playoffs. We didn't have any previous success in the NCAA playoffs. We had some success at the NAIA level, national championship back in '72, but that's been a long time. And so they weren't used to tasting that. So we sat down when I first got there midway through football season, which is a challenge for both an AD and a football coach to adjust to new leadership in those roles. And we sat down together on a road trip at West Texas when we were in Amarillo in late October, and we started mapping out, because we played on that Saturday night, and he and I started talking about some things. And just an example of being best in class and who is our model at the time, it was Northwest Missouri. And again, the West Texas, they were the ones that were winning the Lone Star. So we needed to go get things done. We didn't have a dedicated football strength and conditioning coach. We added that, and pretty quickly added that. It paid dividends. I mean, in his championship press conference, Colby Carthel referenced the Stoner effect, and that's Josh Stoner, our senior director of sport performance, who does an unbelievable job. So we're constantly what does Northwest Missouri have? What did Grand Valley do? What did North Alabama do? What did Ferris State do? What are these teams that we're now competing against? Because you have to win the Lone Star. There's no debating that. We have to treat Eastern New Mexico, Western New Mexico, Midwestern, Kingsville, Angelo. You got to run the gauntlet in the league. But then what are we doing? And we learned last year going up to Grand Valley, and we got beat, 55-32, and it was close in the third quarter. We got it down to a touchdown, but they imposed their will, and they were bigger, faster, stronger. And we said we've got to draw a line in the sand. So best in class is framed around what do we need to do, people, opportunity, resource-wise. And it really ties in. I think the mission should roll off your tongue. Yeah. We brand best in class throughout our department. It's in our stadiums. It's in our locker rooms. Our coaches have bought in. Our football recruiting theme and marketing theme is to the top, because that's what Colby said for 5 years he's going to take this program. So it ties in well, because you'll hear Colby and all of our coaches our football coaches talk about, we're taking our best-in-class program to the top. So it really blends together well.
Football's made it to the top, literally best in class. You've had some other programs that have done some tremendous things on the fields and course of play. how will you know when best of class, when that objective has been achieved culturally across the department? How will you know when it's got fatigue and it's time to create a new rally cry?
That's a great question. Our strategic plan that had total department buy-in, not everybody participated. Everybody had the opportunity to participate on a strategic goal committee. We have 6 of them, 6 strategic goals, and they revolve around student-athlete success, culture compliance, responsible resource allocation, fiscal responsibility, diversity and equity, and a championship culture is actually our third one, to instill and promote a championship culture. And that one was co-chaired strategically, bad pun, by 2 coaches, that our football offensive coordinator and our associate head coach in volleyball, and we create that. There's a lot of things, and we don't get a chance to do this very often, but your question about fatigue is great, because right now we just had not only the national championship, but we had the first triple crown in NCAA history with the Harlan Hill winner, the Elite 90 winner, which is the academic award for championships, and a 3.97 starting linebacker in bio pre-med is a lot better than the AD did as an undergrad. And now being a finalist here, and hopefully getting some good news about a potential award of excellence here at this convention as we visit. That these are the kind of things we've got to continue to replicate, and I think the way we do it is just training and developing our people. I just sat down, spent the equivalent of 2.5 days, and it wasn't easy, because that means I'm putting all meetings on hold and turning the cell phone off and not looking at anything. And I learned this from Jim Phillips. I sat down for 15 minutes with every single staff member, all 99 in our department, from GA all the way up to head football coach and deputy AD, and that's 15 minutes, and we go through 3 professional goals, 1 professional development goal, and 1 personal goal. And if I don't do those personal goals with them and give that 15 minutes, I don't learn that I have an assistant in media relations that is a fiction writer and loves writing fiction, and that's his outlet. I don't learn that one of my sport performance guys wants to complete a 70-mile bike ride and wants to do a 100-mile. And I say that because I come from that, and my staff will laugh if they ever hear this, that I'm using a farming metaphor. But I always come from that CROP acronym: culture, resources, opportunities, people. And those final 3, the resource, opportunities, people, that's what frames your culture. You and I both know I can't walk in, Monday when I get back and, okay, guys, we're going to have a good culture today. That's disingenuous.
It is.
But those resources, opportunities, people can really help us create that, and a strong culture and a family culture. And we actually live our mantra of family culture. I have 4 husband-wife teams in the department, and that's really, really, I think, unique for any level.
That'd be a whole other conversation to have, how you manage husband-wife combinations. You've touched on this, but let's dive into it a little bit, and that is the football national championship and what momentum that can provide to your department. But you're an external guy by nature in terms of your skill set, right? So how can you push the department forward on all fronts, not just football, because of this accomplishment?
Great question. So the thing that I now I don't mind admitting it, I didn't want to jinx our football team too much, but when we won the region and advanced that first week in December to the regional or the national semifinals, I started pulling out, from FCS success at Texas State, bowl success at Northern Illinois and SMU, kind of how we capitalize on this. And I put together just a very simple 1-sheet plan of here's how we've got to capitalize on the championship, right? And so didn't share with our football coach because he's worried about trying to win 2 games. But I was very fortunate, and every Monday during this playoff run, our president, Dr. Ray Keck, who's very supportive of athletics, over the top support of athletics, and sees the value of what it can do, especially at our Division II level for the institution as a whole. I took them through the plan. So we, planned out championship celebrations, planned out media buys in the DFW and Love Field airports, planned out the rotating billboards, planned out our Christmas Eve sports section ad in the Dallas Morning News if we were to win it. And keep in mind, that gave us, 2 weeks. So when we're, we have, what's that?
Is some stuff still running?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I get texts from friends, and obviously Dallas is a hub. People flying through there all the time, and man, that's unbelievable. Way to show off Dallas's championship team. We're not. I'm not going to compete with TCU and SMU's market share, and I don't need to. But I want, when 70 of our 91,000 alums live within a 90-minute radius of Dallas, why not show that off? And so we've got to continue to do those things. What I think it's going to allow us to do is now when we're having an alumni event or a happy hour in Dallas, maybe it's not 15 or 20 people, maybe it's 75 or 80 people. And then what that allows the institution as a whole to do, we're not the only great thing going on campus. Our executive MBA is ranked #1 in the state of Texas for, and there's a formula for that, online retention. We're not just slapping it on a marketing deal and say we're #1. We got a lot of great things going on, a cooperative partnership in our engineering school with L3, who's the nation's leading defense contractor. We've got a lot of great things going on our campus. What football does is, as I say, it invites people to come up to the front porch. We know that's a somewhat tired metaphor, but it allows you to peek in the window. What we wanted to be with this football program is 2017 for A&M Commerce needs to be that peek in the window.
If we sit down this time next year, because we probably will at the convention again, what does success overall with this marketing push, given the championship, what does success looks like a year from now? Tangibly.
That instead of me just standing up and saying that it's the rising tide that gathers all other ships, that it's actually done it. And I hope it is. I mean, we got a lot of basketball left. We're on a big road trip right now, but our women are tied for first, and our men are in first in basketball. We return a national champion in outdoor track. We've added depth in both track and field programs. I think we're poised to compete. Our men's golf coach's words, not mine, is he expects to compete for a national championship this spring. And for a coach to say that, I'm not going to hold him to it, that he's got to win it. That would be disingenuous. But we're thinking about championship culture. Unfortunately, we don't have right now an all-sports trophy in the Lone Star. So Josh Mank and I are
trying to create one.
and we're going to market that because I want to tell it, and I want there to be an academic component to it. Our LSC commissioners list just came out yesterday, and I'm not just proud that we had 160, which was by 2, the most on it. I'm proud that we're doing that with 14 sports, where some schools in our league have 18, 19, 20 sports. So that's even per capita, to me, an even more impressive thing. And just not standing on the sideline. We can't stop fundraising. We can't think all of our recruiting and travel budgets are fine because we're about to absorb almost the entire Heartland Conference in 2019.
Right.
Can't rest on that. Can't sit on our laurels.
Getting there is one thing. Staying there.
Absolutely. And so that's what's getting me up. That's what gets me up. And I was visiting this morning with a couple of colleagues. I was answering some questions from a sport management class on a panel this morning, and they said, "What do you love most about your job?" And I quickly correct them. I said, "Guys, if you're going into college sports because you think it's a job, don't look at it. We have a vocation." And I don't mean to sound too much like Mother Teresa. Don't get me wrong. As Mike O'Brien, my former boss at Lamar, once told me, we're not curing cancer, but hopefully we might be educating the kid that's going to. And that gets me up. And because we have a vocation, I haven't gone to a job a day in my life.
Good stuff. Thank you, Tim.
Matt, appreciate it. Thanks for all you guys do.
One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.